All right, today we're going to start on the V block, and we've got SolidWorks open. Here's our Google Classroom. We are looking at doing the base part first. It's probably the most complicated. So we're going to click on this, give you a preview of what it is. Now, on these we have some dimensions that are prescribing the drill bit used in producing some of these holes. We don't need to put this information in here. It's uncalled for. The machinist is responsible for that. We do need to tell it's a 3/8/16 threaded hole, but we don't need to tell him what drill bit to use. So we'll leave that information out when we do our dimensioning, and it really doesn't have any bearing on our making of the part. And over here where we have counter bores, since the SolidWorks likes to use the fastener as the determiner for what the counter bore size is and counter bore depth, this may change. All right, so I'll pick a fastener, and then that will change probably the depth and the diameter of the counter bore. That's fine. Not going to worry about that right now. Okay, so what I want to do is I can either start by sketching this and then extruding its depth here, which happens to be 2, or I can sketch this profile, which is the most complicated part, and extrude it back the 4 inches, which is how I did it the first time. And then I would have to cut this notch out, and I think that went fairly well. There's other ways you could do it, but this is how I chose to do it. And I used a tool that we have not seen in this class, a dynamic symmetry. I can't remember exactly what it's called, but I'll show you how that works. I don't know if it helped all that much, but it's there. So here's the drawing. I'm going to pull it off to the side. We're going to open up SolidWorks and get going here. Here you can see I already have it done. I don't know which screen you're looking at now. Okay, hopefully I'm showing the right screen. Here we are. You see I already have it done, but we're going to do it again. Part. This is in inches. Most of yours defaults to inches. I'm going to make sure mine does not. I guess I do enough metric work that it is confused. All right, so that view we have is on the right side, so we are going to make sure that's what we're going to draw our plane on, is on the right side. I have this sinking feeling that I'm not showing the right screen. We're going to find out, I guess. All right, so I'm going to go sketch. We're going to pick the right plane. And under tools, sketch tools, there's this dynamic mirror. That's the word I was looking for. We're going to make use of that. First, I'm going to draw a center line. This is going to be our mirror line. And the total height of this thing is 2.75. So we'll go ahead and smart dimension that. So now anything, if I turn that tool on, anything I draw, once I select this as my mirror line, will appear on the right side as well. I almost wish I could split this screen with you. Maybe I can. there's a lot of details in here, and we're going to try to capture them all. I'm going to ignore this fillet here on the inside. I'm going to do that last as a feature because this dynamic mirror does not like doing sketch fillets, or at least I had trouble with it when I did it. So I've got a 2.56. I can draw a line half that and come up. The distance here is not seen in this view, so we come over here, and again it's not seen here, so there's got to be something that tells us where this ends. So we'll be trying to calculate that down from the top. So if we have 2.75, then the top of this part is going to be 1.5 inches down, which it leaves us with 1.25, I think. So let's go ahead and start sketching the shape, and let's turn our dynamic mirror on right here under sketch tools, sketch tools, dynamic mirror, and it says, you know, what mirror line. Well, here's my mirror line. So now every time I sketch something on one side, it'll put it on the other, and they're tied together. All right, so I'm just going to sketch a general shape. I'm not going to put dimensions in yet. You can see it appearing on the other side. I do know it goes all the way up to this, into this line. Now I've got an angle part, and then it drops down and it comes over, tie it to the center line, not to the midpoint. You gotta be careful where it's snapping to. All right, so now I have this shape. It's obviously not to the right dimensions, but we'll fix that. 2.56 across the bottom. See how messed up this becomes here? A little bit. See how I inverted these? I'll fix that in just a second. Let's go ahead and get this. Again, that dimension wasn't given. We have to calculate that. It is 1.5 here, and we have 2.75, so that equals 1.25. But for the sake of doing things properly, we should probably do it the way it's dimensioned. So let's go ahead and do this. All right. And this distance here is given as 0.28. We don't know necessarily this yet, but we know this is 2 across the top. We're going to hope this thing will flip back. It hasn't done that yet. There we go. I'll just force it. We don't have any dimensions on it yet. This is 0.25. We come over here, we have an angle, 45 degrees, which will make this inclusive angle 90. And we have a 0.25 here. And the width is also here, is 0.25. Not an angle, please. It's starting to look closer. We got a 280 overhang here. We got a 380 distance from the bottom of this groove to the bottom of that overhang. It's going to argue with me on that one. 1.25, yeah. 0.25, 45. is 0.25. I think I have that there. This is not fixed. But it is 0.380. So it's already saying it's 380 based on the 45 and the distance to the height. So the only thing left is this that I can see. So we'll come in here. This is 0.250. And somehow I lost my 0.275 since that was only tied to that center line. So I got to come back in here and tell it that again. There we go. Now we're fully defined down here. I do want to create this. I'm going to leave the fillet out. I might try it again, but it didn't like the fillet on the dynamic mirror. So I got a 0.25. Now, how do I know this distance on these little leftover legs? Well, you got a 250 radius, and you've got this ½ inch here. So that means this is 250 and that's 250 to get us to the ½ inch. So I'm just going to draw a rectangle. Now the problem with this dynamic mirror on, it's going to want to create both. So let's just stick to the line. I don't want to tie it to any other geometry right now. So that should appear on the other side. Smart dimension this. And 0.250 vertically. So now I'm fully defined. I think I have everything I need. Let's get out of this. Go to features, extrude, and I'm going to flip it on that way, and it's 4 inches. And check. So now I've got to do fillet in here, 1/4 inch fillet. Just get the edge. That's done. And now I got to cut this section out. And it's 1½ inch. So I'm going to right click on this, new sketch, rectangle, start it on the line. It comes all the way down to this plane, and it's 1.25 from this edge. And it's 1½ inches wide. And return, extrude cut. So now I've got the V block done besides the holes. All right, so we're going to stop there. Hopefully that'll help you.